Hello Internet, I am Tormazimnis, and welcome to my first ever scripted video where we'll be covering the gameplay and general overview of RWBY Amity Arena. We'll only be scratching the surface in this video as there is a lot of ground to cover, so covering different strategies and setups with characters in RWBY Amity Arena will have to wait for future videos. However, I won't be leaving you empty-handed either. While at RTX, I had the good fortune of meeting with and interviewing Kyung Kim. He's one of the game designers for RWBY Amity Arena, was demoing it at RTX, and was gracious enough to spare some time to answer a few of my questions, so I do hope you'll stick around for that. But enough introductory jaw-flapping, let's get to the meat of why we're all here! RWBY Amity Arena is, in some ways, a simplified version of Clash of Clans. Both you and your opponent will have two turrets flanking a central tower, with control of the battlefield split in half at the start of the game. As RWBY Amity Arena is a real-time strategy multiplayer game, you will be facing off against a real person somewhere in the world every time you fight. So getting familiar with your characters and being inventive with how you use them can make or break your chances of winning. You'll be switching between offensive and defensive strategies fairly often as you defend your structures while trying to destroy your opponent. But offensive and defensive gameplay vary and even overlap depending on the units you've deployed. And both placement and timing will make the difference between keeping and losing control of the field. Of course, you need aura to deploy your characters, so each match begins with both players having 5 aura bars. It's possible to have up to 10 aura at any one time. Your aura increases as you play and is used any time you deploy one of your units, and the recharge rate doubles during the last minute of each match to allow for quicker deployment during the final push. Most units cost between 1 and 5 aura, with beefier units having higher aura costs, although there are certain exceptions. The most notable one thus far is the Baby Deathstalkers, which is essentially a Zerg Rush multi-summon unit with 15 Baby Deathstalkers with low HP. All multi-summon units will have lower HP per unit than your single summon units, and ranged units have lower HP than melee units, so you'll want to keep these things in mind while balancing between ranged and melee units, as too much of one or the other can lead to trouble. You'll also want to pay attention to how rare your characters are, as many characters with beneficial skills are either rare or elite character units. The Team Builder section will allow you to view your current loadout, check their skills and stats, level them up, if you have enough cards and gold, and swap them into your party in exchange for another unit. You can have up to 5 preset loadouts as denoted by the icons beneath your current loadout, so you'll be able to save your favorites for easy access later on. Make sure you're comfortable with the loadout screen, as you'll be returning here many times to tweak and improve your loadouts as you progress. Once your loadout is finalized, you're ready to fight other players and quest for victory! This is done from the battle screen, where you'll also see icons that show announcements and daily missions when selected. You'll want to keep track of your daily missions, as completing them will net you some rewards upon completion. If you're not worried about your missions, or you've already completed them, you can relax and enjoy one of the selectable backgrounds while the game matches you to an opponent. And once one is found, the arena will load up and give you 3 minutes to defeat them. As I mentioned earlier, each player has a central tower with 1 turret on the left and right, along with 5 aura bars. To win the match, you must deploy your units to destroy as many enemy structures as possible, while defending your own structures and defeating enemy units. Each time you destroy a structure, you get a Dust Crystal Core, and destroying your opponent's central tower will net you all 3 cores and win you the match. Destroying a turret will open a hole in your opponent's defenses and allow you to place your units closer to the central tower to attack it directly. However, your units will take damage from both the central tower and the remaining turret. If you and your opponent are tied at the end of 3 minutes, you will enter a sudden death mode to give you 1 more minute to break the tie. Destroying a structure during sudden death ends the match immediately, but the match will end in a draw if you are still tied when sudden death ends. Your opponent is determined by your trophy points. You get them by winning matches, lose them by losing matches, and your opponent's trophy points will generally be close to your own. Once you have enough trophy points, you unlock the next arena level, and its associated characters. Unless you lose enough trophy points to be sent back to the previous arena, all future matches will take place in the new arenas as you unlock them. Arenas and character unlocks will be covered in future videos, but for now, just know that 400 trophy points unlocks the second arena. In addition to the gameplay covered thus far, you also have repeatable daily missions, as well as non-repeatable one-time missions for new players. Each mission has specific victory conditions that range from winning against an opponent to destroying the central tower. Completing these missions net you rewards such as gold, character cards, and EXP rewards, and you also get a small amount of gold and 1 or 2 characters for winning a match. As mentioned earlier, you can level up characters from the character loadout screen, but doing so requires enough character cards and gold, and the required amount increases with each new level. The amount of gold required also depends on a character's rarity, as they range from common, which has a black border, to rare, which has an orange border, and elite, which has a purple border. Leveling your characters will give you EXP for the level of your structures. They gain stat increases as they level up in the same way that your characters do, with the main difference being that your structures immediately level up when they have enough EXP, whereas you get to choose when you level up your characters, and which ones you want to focus on. Higher level structures are more durable than lower level ones, and increase your survivability in-game, so you'll want to level up your characters anytime you get the chance. The creators of RWBY Amity Arena envisioned a game where everyone would log in daily, complete their daily missions, duke it out, and grow stronger together over time. In keeping with this goal, they have instituted the Academy system. This window is on the right of the battle window, and will allow players to create their own academies. This allows you to gather together with combatants in your own academy for practice matches. Trophy levels will not be affected, and it will give you the chance to work out the kinks and strategies of your loadouts before fighting competitively against other people in the arena. Personally, I'm hoping for events and activities that allow you to compete directly with other academies and strengthen your own. But one thing I'm sure they'll do is have an academy leveling system. As of my recording this video, there doesn't appear to be much information on how it would work if implemented, but you can be sure I'll be covering that as soon as more information is made available. As with all games, there are those who want to advance quickly. And as with all free-to-play games, RWBY Amity Arena will have a store page from which you can purchase their premium in-game currency and use it to purchase things in the store. In keeping with the RWBY theme, the premium in-game currency is called Special Premium Dust, or SPD for short.
SPD Emergency!
As of the recording of this video, the things you can buy with SPD are limited to boxes with character cards and gold, sacks of gold, and keys. There may be more in the future depending on how much wasn't included in the closed beta. The keys are for the boxes you gain when you win a match, but these replenish over time if you're willing to wait for them. Most of the time, you'll find yourself spending SPD on either the character card boxes, or the sacks of gold for leveling your characters and purchasing individual character cards, as there is a segment of the store for doing that with gold. Obviously, some would view this as a pay-to-win mechanic, and some would have strong opinions on it. However, before that topic reaches RWBY Amity Arena, I would like to remind everyone that this is a free-to-play game, and that most people who make games do so with the hope that they can be paid for their time and effort in order to handle their living expenses. And again, this game is free to play, so you don't have to spend money on it if you don't want to. You can do the daily grind and grow organically. Sure, it'll be slower, but there will be plenty of others doing the same thing, so you'll always have someone to play against. Starting next video, I will be going over the different character types, rarities, and skills in greater detail, as well as different strategies you can enjoy using different setups. With that in mind, please enjoy this interview with Kyung Kim, and I hope you enjoyed watching. Hello, Internet! My name is Torma Zimnis, and I'm here with one of the guys that are working on RWBY Amity Arena, and I don't think I ever asked your name. Major oversight on my part.
Oh, my name is Kyung Kim.
Hey, how's it going?
Nice to meet you.
Likewise. Alright, so one question that I have on my mind, what brought about the idea of RWBY Amity Arena? I know that I saw or heard something about how it was inspired by this tabletop game or board game that was being played in Volume 2, but what else was involved?
Actually, that's that's where a lot of the idea came from. It's that how we're gonna design the theme of this game, and we decided that hey, there's a board game in the world of Ruby, so why not be a scroll game in the world of Ruby? It's just like us, right? And so yeah, we decided to make it a scroll game, and that's why when you start the game up, you'll see that the little scroll opens up, and that's how
Yes,
it begins.
I love that touch. It is so cool. So, for the characters, I've noticed that the higher tier ones, the purple text ones, specifically have skills that you can activate at given points, while the orange ones have skills that activate when they're brought out, or depending on the situation, a la Scythe Ruby's leaping to attack whatever enemies. So, are there going to be more things added in the future, or things where you have higher tier cards than purple, where the passive and active skills are combined, or will you combine the different kinds of characters?
So yeah, we're definitely thinking about a lot of different types of cards, but then combining the active and the passive could be quite strong. So that's going to be a rough one to figure out in the short term. But yeah, we are considering a lot of different possibilities. For instance, Neptune, he's a purple card, but he doesn't have an active skill, so he's a
I mean, hey, he does Yatsuhashi's AoE attack, but instead of setting up in the air, he paralyzes them, and he paralyzes them when he hits them, the same as Nolan. So I'd say that was a pretty fair balancing move right
exactly.
there.
That's what it is. And so, the colors won't necessarily mean one thing or another, like, oh, only the active skills are only on the purple cards, and the passives are only on the orange cards. But that's how it is for the most part right now, and that's really it.
Cool. All right, so my personal thought for combining the passive and actives into the same card would be, okay, let's take Ruby Rose for instance. When someone's all in her face or closer up to her, she would attack them with her scythe. When they're farther out, she'd go gun mode, and then her active skill would be specifically the sniper shot. And that to me would be something that would happen if you added more towers, not more towers, more arenas in. So where you've got the higher levels like 8 or 9 where those cards become available, and then that would be like for the really high tier players to get via progression. Do you think something like that could work?
It's less of an issue of whether it's working or not. It's definitely developable, programmable. The issue is game balance as well as accessibility. What we don't want to do is have fans of Ruby not be able to get a Ruby because they're not in the really excessively high arena. So that's something we have to take into account because we're working together with Rooster Teeth, and we want to give all the fans as much as we can of what they want. So.
Yeah, I know one thing you mentioned to me before when we were talking earlier was that you were concerned about things reaching a point very quickly when the game comes out where where you got a select group of players who get really good at the game real quickly, or who already had a head start, and then they suddenly become like virtually unbeatable because they've been able to have such a massive head start and have all the tips and tricks and whatever, and they're only getting better while you're still spending all this time trying to catch up. So that's definitely something important to consider from a game balancing aspect as well. Although I kind of wonder exactly how do you guys plan on handling that?
Well, the thing is, a PvP game, so take into account like Overwatch, it's a self-balancing system. You have enough people playing, and you'll have enough people in your ranking range where that won't really be an issue because if you have 3,000 trophies, then you'll be matched up against somebody else with 3,000 trophies. Whether somebody has 8,000 has nothing to do with you because you're not going to play against them. So, but yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for your time. I'm looking forward to the game coming out. I know that I'm hoping to be at least somewhere in the upper areas if I get the chance. But I'll just have to wait and see what happens. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for playing our game and loving it.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.